Perhaps unsurprisingly, I don't actually feel confident whatsoever going into this. It's kind of become a bit of a theme. Oh, I see. I guess I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? It's true. Nobody ever did see the other guy, so that's kind of a problem. But he was there when I took the coffee's order. Oh, yeah. The coffee over, sir. Scout's honor. Maggie, it's the Gumshoe. The shoe of gum. Also, hi, welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. I am the Max Feud Trays. We're still going in this case here. Detective Gumshoe. Are you doing all right? How you feeling? As if you need to ask either question, sir. Oh, don't let him get you down, Maggie. And don't forget to eat well, okay? Roger. And you. Yeah? You'd better square this case away. Got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? Yeah, well, obviously. If you screw up, then I'll be doing some squaring away myself with my big meaty fists. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest? Never mind. He's going through the legal ways. Although I don't think you could really make a case. I think he's serious. Gumshoe's always serious. It's just hard to tell most of the time. Hey, detective, you're on our side for once, right? Yup. I mean, technically, he's always been on our side. He just, mostly due to the fact that he's never really been especially great at his job. So, but you know, this time he's deliberately trying to help us. So you'll be able to help Maggie out, right? Really? Can you, sir? Of course. I've got the situation under control. Surely. I'm gonna be the first witness on the stand today. If something I say doesn't mesh with the facts, make sure you point it out, all right? Sure. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. You get me? Here's hoping for the best on that one. I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, detective. I know I can count on you. Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh? It's definitely not. I can only wish. Well, we're on case 3 of the game, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say probably not. Also constantly dealing with this Kudo man. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Pontificating and other such nonsensical musings. Yes, that's right. I'm wasting your time. What up? Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Ah! What's wrong? Nothing. It's just whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, "You was talking to me?" It was a little intimidating. No, that wasn't me. That was the phony Phoenix. The faux Phoenix, if you will. I see. So our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Our trusty? Isn't that a compliment? So, Mr. Kudo, your opening statement, please. And please cut out all of the flowery nonsense and, you know, haikus. You've never done a haiku, but it was the fanciest wordsmithing word I could think of. Mr. Wright, whether you're fake or the real deal, we'll find out soon enough through this trial today. But I can already tell you I'm the real Phoenix Wright. I wasn't questioning whether you're Phoenix Wright or not. Oh, so you do know my name. You're intentionally saying it wrong. Cool. So now we can't even, like, bank on the idea that you just have really bad hearing. You're just a jerk. I was questioning whether you'd studied law or not. Well, I was an art major. That's what I intend to find out. There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. That much is true. That much is fact. As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this retrial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial. I'm not planning on repeating anything that phony me said. Trust me. Now then, Mr. Kudo, please summon your first witness. And then he did. It was shocking to all. Let's start with the formalities, shall we? Name and occupation. The last time Gumshoe tried to do that, it didn't work. You were mean to him. Witness! State your name for the court. Yeah. Oh, sorry, sir. The name's Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. He did it. Good job, buddy. And then my microphone decided to dive bomb on me and cause me pain. Ow. Other way around, detective. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigation's tied up with another case now. Well, Gumshoe's really got everything under control, for everyone's sake. When has Gumshoe ever? He's a good man with his with a good head on his shoulders, but I'm just saying, he's not very good at his job. I see. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case? Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elg. He was a professional programmer, in that he professionally programmed. He was on the payroll of Blue Screens Incorporated, a local company. A family subsidiary. This is the victim's autopsy report. The court accepts this into evidence. Yay, I finally get to see it. Died of potassium cyanide poisoning. Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. Interesting. And here are the floor plans of the restaurant. Ew. All right, we walk through. Oh, so there are 4 tables in all. There you go. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. The poisoned coffee was brought over to him by the, by the waitress, as it were. The waitress being the accused? Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. And at the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. John Armstrong, the owner and chef, and kleptomaniac, and the regular by the name of Mr. Victor Kudo, also known as Professional Pervy Man. They are very strange individuals, and that's coming in from the Phoenix Wright series. Seriously, like, I don't know if I've met this many absolutely bonkers people in one case before. No, I mean, I guess nothing's ever really gonna, top Turnabout Big Top, but still, it's giving it a run for its money. You gotta give it that much. It still seems to be a very straightforward case to me. All right, well, it's good to have that at least. I have a crippling dependency. Come, detective, take up this hammer. And nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own 2 hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimonials. Yes, sir. And thus Gumshoe did the thing. What will he say? When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table, sir, even though that's obviously not true. We understand that guy, Glenn Elg, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup, and when we found it was potassium cyanide. That stuff packs a punch! And, it looks like Miss Bird might have, well, some kind of motive. Maybe, possibly. I don't freaking know. Using the dark, aromatic depths of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. This game and its weird obsession with coffee and poisoned coffee and the coffee that is poisoned and poison in the coffee. My previous theory has definitely got to be true at this point. He definitely is the guy who got poisoned earlier. Still not sure why he hates Phoenix, but I guess we'll figure that out eventually. I mean, they're not going to just ignore it for the entirety of the game, I assume. The facts of this case seem to be ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would ask you to begin your cross-examination, but... yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around. Is that understood? Do I look like a man who is intimidating? I already told you that wasn't me. If anything, Phoenix Wright is intimidating because he's so unintimidating. You don't think you'd ever be able to... You think he'd be in no problem whatsoever, but then he surprises you. Anyway. What do you mean he was alone at the table? That's a load of hoo-ha. Can I stop you for just a minute? Huh? What is it? Did I say something that contracts the evidence? Or contradicts? He's so desperate for that to be true, he's practically crying. Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Bird. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, that's what she said. And I said nay. What killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction? Hey! Sadly, her testimony isn't supported by the owner or the other customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, it's true. That 2 testimonies tie up on that. They both said there was no other guy at the table. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? We gotta squeeze out all possible information. As long as there's no chance of a penalty, why shouldn't I? Well, maybe the other witnesses just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way. Whoa! I hawed so hard I hiccuped. That argument is excuse me. That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulations, right? Yeah? I have here in my possession a ticket. ticket. Looks more like a photograph to me. Yes, a one-way ticket to Guiltyville! Population, the defendant! You know, for a guy who really tries to look cool, you sure do and say a lot of dorky things. This is a photograph taken from near the entrance to the entrance to the kitchen. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef, moments after the poisoning took place, correct? I think the court will agree that with such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trite, could anyone have overlooked a second person at the table? Egots! This is the most orthodox. It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly. Well, I got a crime photo added to the thing, so I'm gonna say I probably did a good job. Explain yourself! He was listening to his radio, you say? Yeah, he had a portable radio in his chest pocket. Maggie told us that too, didn't he? Didn't she? Something about how one of them had some sort of earpiece. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Once again, I don't have a penalty. And what was it that the victim was listening to on the radio, Detective Gumshoe? How should I know? Thanks a lot. We're now one step closer to the middle of nowhere. This isn't going very well, is it? It never is. Detective, could you perhaps tell us about the poison and how it was used? Okay, so I guess I'm not gonna get something out of everything. All right, well, let's talk about it. So traces of the poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else. Not sure I get you, pal. Was the poison a liquid or was it a powder? If I had to put it in layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. Good God! So the poison could have been in anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper? Ha! Do you put salt and pepper in your coffee, Trite? I mean, nothing could make it taste any worse. The victim took his coffee black with no sugar. Nyarg! It seems that the poison could only have been in the coffee. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Might as well. I got nothing better to do. You absolutely certain that the victim ever drank any of his coffee? Huh? What do you mean? Well, according to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. But what proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it? Oh, hey, you're right. That's what I was thinking. Oh, and now he's gonna say some words, I guess. Oh. In case you were wondering, that last objection was for the detective over there, or whatever. Why am I so bad at reading today? I apologize. For me? Oh, hey, you're right. You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. If you have the time to waste, you have the time to present that piece of evidence. That piece, sir. Yes, that piece. What piece was it again? Ugh, gross. This! Oh, come on! Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Ow, all over your face? That hurt like hell. Oh, now I remember. This is the, victim's coffee cup. Yes, the victim's cup. Take a good look at the rim. Oh, yes, it's unmistakable. There is clearly a coffee stain on it. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in the cup. Oh, are the restaurants really bad at cleaning their dishes? The victim gulped down the bitter death that the waitress brought to him. Wow, I didn't think that could be any more disgusting, but he found a way. Thanks for that. For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victims and the defendants. Well, ain't that just a massive pile of butts? Upon further investigation of this cup, we found a certain chemical substance. All right, well, at least I've got more information. Press it down. Potassium cyanide. I've heard of that chemical before. It's one of the most well-known poisons there are, I feel. At least when it comes to stuff like this. Exactly how strong is this poison, Detective Gumshoe? Well, that stuff's lethal. Eat too much and you're history. I mean, it is poison. How much is too much? I don't friggin' know. What do I look like? Some kind of science man? A lethal dose is 0.2 grams. That's about enough to finish anyone off. 0.2 grams? How much is that? Not a lot. You know when you swab your ears for earwax? Yeah, about that much. Earwax, huh? Sounds like something Gumshoe's got an abundance of. That's gross. I didn't need to know that. Such a small quantity of poison could have been concealed anywhere. Alright, and, well, we're gonna have to talk about this. Some kind of motive? Yeah, but if you ask me, it's blown no way out of proportion. Oh, but nobody asked you. You know what my golden rule is, detective? Drink coffee, say nonsense, smell really, really bad. Check out a bad cup of coffee, you could always get another. I don't get it. Neither do I, I'm just saying words. I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if we have to chuck you out. Yeah. So stick to the facts, detective. Now then, what was Miss Bird's motive? Come on, Gumshoe. They said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. I knew it. That's what we heard yesterday, too. It disappeared from the scene of the crime. And it wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was a winning ticket for $500,000. Holy golly gosh, it's $500,000. Mr. Armstrong knew about the ticket too, didn't he? He even tried to steal it, and he stole the wrong one. Then, is it possible Maggie stole the winning one? What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? It's literally the last part of the testimony, and I don't really think I have any evidence that contradicts much of anything. I think this is kind of all I can really do. Wait a minute! The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client. Huh. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. That's the $500,000 lottery ticket? One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search. Interesting you felt the need to point out female police officer, but okay. Of the defendant. Wah! All right, well, that's definitely a problem. Order! Ha! She's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. You will submit that ticket as evidence to the court, immediately! I better keep an eye on that ticket, the way the judge's voice is quivering. Alrighty, well, that's another one. The ticket was presented to the court in the previous trial, too. But it feels heavier now, somehow. $500,000, you say? It's just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honor. And that's on Maggie's person, unfortunately. Which makes things difficult for us. That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had ample opportunity to commit the crime of which she is charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime. I like an old man who knows the score. 1732. There's also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket, which is mine now, by the way. You can't have it. It's in my beard. Good luck finding it. That alone provides a very credible motive. I mean, for that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. And I'm judge. I don't mind an old man who's weak to the siren call of money. Okay. Not good, Nick. He's schmoozing. The evidence against Maggie's starting to pile up pretty fast. Yeah, it's because the court has ruled guilty once already. And I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance. How does Godot not have, like, the overwhelming desire to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes? With one final decisive piece of evidence. He's got more evidence against Maggie? This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've seen. And I've seen at least 4. That stain looks like, it can't be blood, can it? Well, I mean, if it is, that would be very odd, because it was a poisoning, and I don't think that much blood would have come out of someone who's poisoning. Maybe a little bit, from like maybe the throat or something, or maybe even the ears perhaps, but I don't see how that could possibly happen. Ha! It seems the star of our play was a little flustered. Consume. And somehow spilled coffee on herself. Coffee? That's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more. Something else? I presume you mean, of course, I'm referring to the pockets. The pocket? A search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide. The very bottle used by the killer was in her apron pocket. A bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket. But yeah, but she was passed out. They could have planted anything on her. Yeah, and Maggie's prints were the only ones on it. Ah, god damn it! Why are things like this? Order, order, order! The court will accept these items into evidence. We've got an apron, and we've got some potassium cyanide. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Kudo. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You don't need to be told. Just look at it. Well, detective? Okay, so taking this into consideration and the comment he made about not really liking talking about colors, I'm guessing that his visor thing kind of screws with his vision. Maybe he can't see the color red? Maybe everything is tinted red. So red things just don't show up on there? Could this stain really be blood? No way, sir. It's just ketchup, sir. Ketchup? They must have gotten some on her apron while taking some on their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe. Pull a stunt like that again and I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness. Wow, I think I could only manage one. And I actually enjoy ketchup. I thought everyone knew what it was already. Why would a bloodstain be involved? I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the last ruling I made on this case. Egots! The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence. They have all been clearly established. Well, Trite, it seems you really are a phony after all. Yeah, well, your hair is silly. Yes, I know I'm saying that as Phoenix, but I still stand by it. You really know how to drive a man nuts. Witness, please continue with your testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there.
Oh, if I got it. Okay. I'm just Gumshoe.
The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Interesting. So it was reported at 2:25. The poisoning itself took place anywhere between 1:30 and 2:30. That's interesting, actually. I should probably log that into my brainscapes. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. I mean, this is like the second time she's been dealing with stuff like this. The victim didn't have any identification on him, but we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly. Ooh, I should ask about that. When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. Fascinating. You identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Trite. Wait, don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one. So let the fun begin. If and I must. The investigation. Alright, well, I know for a fact I want to press him on this, but yeah, 2:25 p.m. I just find it interesting that the crime was reported at 2:25 when it's completely possible that the time of death could have happened, you know, apparently, according to this, within almost an entire hour. Because if it was 2:25 p.m. and they confirmed that the time of death was sometime like just before that, that's one thing, but that's a big gap. That's almost an entire hour. Regardless, that's not a contradiction. Poor Maggie passed out. They didn't have any identification on them, but we figured out, okay, so but how'd you do that if there was no identifications? Wait a sec. Hey, did I say something dumb again? Let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, yeah? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly? Oh, that's not a helpful noise. He's so let down, he's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eye thing going. There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. It seems Mr. Glenn Elg visited his doctor before he went to Tribulations. We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds. Well, that's a reliable enough source for the court. What should I do? Should I leave this alone or ask to hear more? Did I actually get that baggie? You showed a baggie image. I'm gonna ask about the bag. So, what sort of medicine was in the bag? Well, actually, the bag we found was empty. Yeah, completely empty. Huh, it was completely empty. There we go. Okay, all right. I think I already know what I gotta do. Ha! Consume. You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate, are you, Trite? I very much am, thank you for noticing. Now, what happened with the investigation after that, Detective? Well, let me tell you, it just really kind of matters that there was nothing else missing from the crime scene, except for whatever was supposed to be in the bag. So what's up with that? Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There's just one small contradiction in your testimony. Oh, finally! I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will ya? It's so weird seeing him like that. You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later? No, they didn't. Aha! It's not much of something, but I'll take it. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. Where, then, did the medicine disappear to? You are too cool, pal! I'm glad somebody else is finally agreeing with me that Phoenix Wright's actually probably one of the coolest characters in all of video games. Indeed. Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far, huh? I mean, I doubt it, but, you know, we'll go with that, sure. The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. That's true. That was almost the very method Phoenix could have died from. But he didn't. Order! Order! Well, Mr. Kudo, what do you have to say to that? Huh. That's all. Huh? That's all? What? Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will. I swear to God, if it says Hottie Clinic. What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear... Otolaryngological Clinic. Yeah, look, I know I said it wrong. I'm positive I said it wrong, and I'm never going to be able to say it right. So let's just move on. Just what kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Kudo? Well, let me explain you a thing. Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say. A war wound? The day before the incident, Mr. Elg found himself in a fight. Consume. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum. Ow. He ruptured his eardrum? Then what on earth was the prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside his ear canal, not to be ingested. You could put poison in your ear. Isn't that how Macbeth's dad died? By getting poison in the ear? It's mentioned in the autopsy report if you read the fine print. I find that incredibly unlikely. 'Cause I can't inspect it any further. They found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Yes, here it is, in very, very fine print. Thanks for keeping information from me. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication. Well, ain't that a pile of butts? It seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all. No, Nick. If you don't think of something quick, it'll be all over. He's right. But I can't get away with any old weak objection. What should I do? I mean, I literally have no other angle to go at from. So I'm gonna roll with it. Only moments ago, Mr. Kudo made the following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime? Ew. But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. I object to that. That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. Bang, bang. It hardly seems like that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. Or maybe you should shut your stupid face hole. It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable. Ah! Hey, what do you know? That works. That's enough. Mr. Kudo, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Kudo? I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder. Oh no! Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater? And waitress enthusiast? Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems a little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me. Yay! Good job, Nick. I am the man who knows. The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness. Huh. I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. You already had 11? Jesus. Court is adjourned for recess. I've run out of playground-based things for the judge to do. So that's a problem. Okay, well, I didn't get it to be continued, though. Whew, that was close. Tell me about it. I nearly died in there. That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray us like that? What? Huh? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right? He was already trying to omit information. He was doing everything he could without actually committing a crime. It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. It really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again. Oof. Poor Gumshoe. So the next witness is gonna be that old guy from the park, right? Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds. I bet he's gonna be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know? Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you gonna be able to handle him, Nick? Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me. Even those never-ending bird seeds. At the end of the day, I've definitely had to, cross-examine significantly less, less cooperative people and more intimidating people. I can make it work. Don't you even worry about it. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Kudo, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old timer who got the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? Hello, yes, it is me. Nose Haver. Name and occupation, if you don't mind. The name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me, mind you. I can be quite emotional at times, too. We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Ha! Listen, youngin'. How much call do you think there is for a kimono embroidery here? Kimono embroidery? That's what I do! Or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. That is actually impressive. Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe you could embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh, yeah. I was eating some seeds over a cup of javakino. Seeds? What do you think these are, huh? That's a new one. I see. So you saw everything that happened, Gramps? Did I? Oh, yeah, I did. I saw it all. Oh, there you go then. Then please, tell the court. We're all ears. Sure. I'll tell you every last detail. He's really getting into this. He was so uncooperative at one point. Now he's all about it. Go figure. Maybe he just likes attention. Young man was reading the sports paper. The servant girl brought him a javakino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the servant girl, there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. Do ye now? Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress. Good lord, I will not have sexism in the courtroom? Ka, you're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones, Newfangled? All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I'll tell you. Excuse me? Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away. Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. I just want to very quickly look into something. It's only 68. In fact, I think the judge might be older than that. Yes, Your Honor. And so I shall. So what did I bear witness to this day? That is a good question. The young man was reading the sports paper. That doesn't really seem like super duper important information. The servant in brought him a Javakino, but she put something in it. I see. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, collapsed. Okay, well maybe let's talk about this. You say you remember her well, but how well do you remember her? You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by? Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is. Sorry. You can see all the way up to her. You know, she's practically naked in that uniform. Not what we're asking. So the particular feature you recognized about the waitress is her outfit. But anyone could wear just such a uniform, even me. Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image. Oh, sorry, Phoenix, but that's actually a legitimately really good burn. Don't get all excited, Nick. You gotta keep yourself together. I guess I got a bit carried away. There are other things I recognize about her, too. He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Let's press harder. Maybe he'll say something that doesn't look like Maggie? That'd be really helpful. Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not. Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features that you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony. Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose. Hold that noise, let me talk about it. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face! Ha! As if I wouldn't remember that. The witness noticed the straps of the accused apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face. That's right, I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red. So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. All right, well, how about we ask about that waitress's back? The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all? Ha! He's got you there, Gramps. Oh, that was on my side. People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. This is harassment! I'll tell you I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features. Features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony. Sure. This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. And if I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet. Well, here's hoping. There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front. Okay, not even, like, all the stuff that was spilled on it? Now, if you'll excuse me, I just really want to be able to say, objection! That's just fun to me. Mr. Kudo, I'd like you to please take a look at this. That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like, just after he's done eating. Okay. Have you ever seen this before? Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Well, you half-witted clod. Did you just call me a clot? You didn't even call me a clod, you called me a clot. What am I, gonna cause some sort of embolism? Also, bada bing, bada boom. What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here. Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. Huh? Indeed. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before, yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front. Oops. Not a freak out, just a whoopsie doodles. Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Consume. Listen, Trite, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird. Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps. You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what a burger customer wanted. He can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out. Womp 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 womp. Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. And so he shall. That I assume. It was another one of those pesky young types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles. I mean, I suppose I could sort of see how you might think that. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless, or radio. I remember that well. Then the servant girl in question brought over the Javakino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. The little fidget? The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yeah, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything. How we're gonna handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, but it's what I do best. Bazam! No arguments there. All right, so let's take a quick look over everything we just saw and then see what we know. Okay, here's another one of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. I guess we'll just press stuff, see what happens, because I don't really know. Spectacles. Dark glasses to you. One of the lenses was green, but the other was broken. Newfangled rubbish. That's why I remember him so well. He did have some kind of scouter over his left eye, so that's definitely something. But I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses. He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some and rival Mr. Kudo's sharp appearance. That would be pretty baller, I'm not gonna lie. You better come up with something sharp and quick. You mean like my stylish hair? Guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about the spectacles. All right, but that might be playing a role in things. Oh, okay, he said something about a newspaper in his right hand. That's interesting. I mean, that's very specific is all I'm saying. The newspaper was a sports paper, was it? That young hooligan? I nearly asked him, can't you even read without fidgeting? How was I supposed to be able to read the back page with all that rustling going on? I need to find out if Gustin Braun retained his championship title. It was his paper, not yours. If you wanted to know so bad, why didn't you buy your own? What are you looking at me like that for, How dare you judge me? Ow! Ow! Gustin Braun got beaten yesterday, by the way. Anyway, actually it was the day before yesterday. You said it was yesterday. Which means it would be the day before yesterday. Okay. Are you sure about that? The wireless? The decadent young rascal? In my day, it was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless. Oh boy. And using an earpiece? It's selfish, that's what it is. It was straining my ears, but I couldn't catch any of it. Was he that desperate to listen to the radio? What are you looking at me like that for, How dare you feel sorry for me? Yeah. Ow! No! Why must you be this way? Alright, actually I don't think I need to press that. What if I talk about this, His free hand? Yeah. Which hand was that? Weren't you listening before? Cloth ears? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? It's if his free hand wasn't his right hand, then ow, my parts. Ha! Perhaps the great Mr. Trite has 3 hands. I might. You don't know that I don't. You don't know jiggity jack all about nothing, man. All right, yeesh, I was only asking. No need to gang up on me and treat me like a freak. That's just rude. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish just one thing. That this old guy's memory has more holes than a slice of Swiss. Also that he's very angry and likes to eat cheese. Anyway, I should probably take a look at my evidence, see what, I guess I can't press my way out of this. I actually need to use evidence. I guess we just need to find a contradiction in his testimony somewhere. All right, let's take a look here. $20, but it tastes bad. Doesn't have any relevance. Don't see how that's a thing. Nada. The floor plans, the crime photo. We're taking a look. Okay. The coffee contained potassium cyanide covered in the victim and Maggie's fingerprints. I'm not 100% sure here. Anything'll do, even the smallest detail. We just need one mistake, and he's ours. Yeah, but the question is, what's the one mistake? I'm not exactly sure. Oh, wait! Actually, hang on a second. Okay, this might be completely nonsense. I could end up making myself look dumb here, but... Am I onto something with this, maybe? Objection? Okay, well, the music stopped. Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of the testimony? That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory? I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you. Nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. I don't know no pigeon song. I only know the llama song. Care to tell us where this is going, Trite? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand. But, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left. Ha! What is this, kindergarten? But I would like the court to please take a look at this. That's the cup the victim used, correct? Yeah, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips. This would imply that he was holding it with his right hand. Whew, okay, that's what I thought I was going with, but I was very unconfident in that. Yeah, there is a stain left by the coffee. If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand. But how? Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song! Ah! That's right, get to singing that song. We want to see some show tunes. Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came from. Wait! Whoa, he mad. If you think I'm gonna stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot in you spiky-haired yahoo who are at fault. Who, me? Hotbot? Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already. Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but sure, why not hear a little more? Mr. Kudo, consume. But this is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand. Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. Can we, though? Left hand or right hand? We're about to find out. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. Wait. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling it with just before he picked up the cup, too. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand. We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye. It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers. A monitor? You mean like a television screen? Sorta. The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work. HDTV, DVD, CD, Blu-ray, ESPN. All these newfangled letters drive me mad, but they don't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth. It's true. He doesn't seem to be lying. And those are the facts in good old black and white. Colors. Who likes colors these days? Okay, but here's the thing. Earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it and picked up the cup too. And then he used the same hand, his left hand. But that wouldn't make any sense. Why would he have an earpiece on an ear that can't hear? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but Mr. Kudo, there's something very strange about your observations of the victim. What? You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. I can only see that side of his head from where I was sitting. I don't think so. What did you say? You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Eh? Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right. It's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear because he couldn't even hear in that ear. Is that true, Captain? It is. Pigeon! Pretty pigeon! Was that the pigeon song? If so, I'm unimpressed. Order, order, order! This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Kudo? Jack. Single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk. That's a weird captain thing. That's weird. Are you calling me a drip? If he was, that's actually pretty smart wordplay considering the whole coffee motif. This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows that the victim picked it up with his right hand. I'll never back down. I know I'm right. That lad drank his Javakino with his left hand. Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip with the cup held in his right hand and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Okay, but maybe no, because you're stupid? Impossible. The witness had already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Brad, well, ain't that a pile of butts? Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The fact still stands. With one or the other, Mr. Elg drank the poison coffee. Like this! Stop drinking nonsense fluids. Sadly, Mr. Kudo, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless. Blah, blah, blah! That's right, ah, blah, blah. What you gonna do? I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I'm satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Why couldn't you have been at least a little Leslie? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo. You can't reach me from there. Your throwing arm is abysmal. Work on your curve. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. Oh, thank God, I had nothing else. Oh, that is good. That is all for now. This court is adjourned. Hold it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait! If we stop now, where does that leave me? Leave you, Mr. Kudo? Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now. How is your bad memory my fault? Sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do. I've kept my mouth shut until now. But there's something else this court should know. What? There's more? To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything. But I want another chance. I want another crack at you, you young shark. Me? He's looking at me like I'm sort of evil shogun. Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook. Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee. What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javakino you want if you come to my house out of the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man. Also, I called him Victo. That's enough, witness. I believe it'll be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. You bet! Much quicker. I thought he said munch. He didn't. I can't believe this is happening. This is all very, very silly. All right, fine. I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would you? He's got to be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds. You really would think he would have run out by now. Also, Phoenix knows enough about video games to know that such a thing is even possible. That's interesting. First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javakino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, huh? Is that all? Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. Yeah? You doubted me again? You doubting a poor defenseless old man? No, we're not doubting you, per se, Mr. Kudo. Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everybody's lips, Nick? Yeah, so what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine the guy. You're a bird brain! That's why all you can think of! Very well, Mr. Wright. Your final cross-examination, please. The final showdown. Where's the vase? Oh, there it is. It's not fallen over. Objection. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene. So what? The vase isn't knocked over. Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact. Huh? Lost your tongue, Granddad? I'm no granddad of yours, Hopscotch! Hopscotch? Ow! Ow! They're like tiny shotgun shells. Enough. If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. Ah. What is it now? I just remembered something. Yeah? Go on. The broken vase. Ha! It was on my table. What? Well, you see, it startled me when that young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean. The vase on your table? Ha! Yeah, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked. I didn't need to hear that. In the long line of things I didn't need to know, that was one of the many. Well, I think we're done here. He sighed after I... Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You certainly earned your kudos for today. I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all? Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo. Wait a minute. If that's the... Oh, no. Oh, yes. Nope. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. Wait, listen to me! Oh, he just wanted to matter in some capacity. All right, so that was a thing. Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked, and I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. That's good for me. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far. The mark on the coffee cup, and the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand. And the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he could not hear. Wow, Nick, you did it. I therefore require both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honor. I don't want to. There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor, one more thing. The witness we just heard from, he's most insistent that his testimony should be of use. So he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Evidence, facts, I'll just keep throwing statements into the air and hoping they work. Godot's really mad, huh? Yeah, I would be too. Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Godot's. Yes, Your Honor. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry? This isn't a piece of testimony. More like a 5-year-old's apology. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies? Well, regardless of that fact, they wouldn't have put it inside my evidence folder if it wasn't something that was necessary at some point. That is all. This court is adjourned. To be continued. Whew. I knew for a fact I was going to get more time to investigate, but man, is it always really nice and relieving to actually hear and see it happen. Like, my goodness, I had nothing. I pulled that noise straight out of thin air. Alright, well, I hope you guys all enjoyed yourself. In the next part, we're gonna do ourselves some more investigating, and it's gonna be a swell old time. I'll see you all then. Gonna figure out how that Red Phoenix impersonator did all of this somehow. I mean, he's obviously him. Anyway, see you then.